my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I'm a beauty enthusiast and consultant who loves to talk about everything dealing with beauty and makeup, and your girl has reached the pinnacle of her career as an influencer. You guys, Danessa Myricks herself slid right up on in my DMs and said, I got a little something for you. What's your address? And I immediately created tears. I ran upstairs, I told Sean, I was crying. Maddie and Emma were laughing at me. I could not believe it. She didn't tell me what she was sending me, but the fact that she herself reached out to me and said, I want to send you something. I was like, I don't care if it's a piece of toilet paper. Danessa Myricks wants to send me something. You guys, she sent me not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 shades of her new blurring balm powder. And you already knew I was gonna get all of this. So Danessa, you know, I've already told you this on Instagram because I shared everything yesterday on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you need to. GlamGirlChelsea. I love you so much. I'm so humbled and honored that you decided to send me all of these. And just thank you for just being who you are and for loving us so much and always keeping us in mind when you're creating your products. So not gonna get too emotional up here, but y'all, we got a whole video to do. I'm wearing a full face of all of these blurring balm powders. I'm gonna share with you everything that I can remember to share with you that I've learned about them and my suggestions, who I think these are great for in terms of skin types, complexion, so on, like all the things. Get you a snack and a drink because you know it's gonna be a long one. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it, and let's get right into this video. So here's the outer packaging of each one of the blurring balm powders. It does come with a spatula, so you just hit the bottom side of the spatula and then it pops right out. As you all know, she is a makeup artist, so she creates all of her products with makeup artists in mind, you know, trying to make sure we can keep our products as sanitary as possible. You can use it, you don't have to use it. Then we open it up, and this is what the blurring powder looks like. So it does come in 11 shades, and the cost of each one of these blurring balm powders is $36. We get a total of 18 grams or 0.63 ounces of product. And she sent me the translucent shade and then 4 additional shades. So I'll show you what each one of these shades looks like. You're already seeing my B-roll where I'm showing you swatches of each one on the face. So with the universal shade, this is her translucent shade. It truly is translucent. I did watch her Teach Me Tuesdays, and she did apply this on multiple complexions that range from light to very deep, dark, and rich. And this literally just goes on very translucent, no fat flashback or anything of the nature. And then I have shades 5, 6, 7, and 8. So here is shade 5, and this is described as medium tan with golden undertones. This is the shade that I do wear all over my face if you are close in shade to me. And for me, I feel like it looks a little more peachy against my complexion, which if you know me, you know I love peach undertones in any of my complexion products. But I do feel like this shade does or is described pretty accurately. Shade 6 is going to be described as tan with neutral undertones, and I completely agree. This does pull quite neutral against my complexion. I do like the undertone of this, but you know, as you saw from the swatches, the actual tone of it just doesn't match. And I also feel like if you have olive undertones within your complexion and you're around my shade, this might work for you as well, because when swatched against my skin, I felt it looked a little olivey, if that makes sense. And just to let you know, she only came out with 10 pigmented shades because the product is quite flexible across shades, and the coverage initially is quite light. I'll insert a picture either here or after I complete my B-roll where she does show you a breakdown of if you wear this shade in her Yummy Skin foundations, these are the shades that you can wear in this blurring balm powder. So I was really happy about that. Shade 7 is going to be described as tan dark with neutral undertones, and I would most definitely agree with that. This is the shade that I did use to bronze and contour with. And then lastly, we have shade 8. And she says this is for dark with golden undertones, and I would agree. I feel like this one looks a little orange against my complexion, or I should say warm, not orange, but warm. I didn't show you all this in the demo, but I used this shade around my mouth just to add some dimension and warmth to the perimeter of my mouth. And then I also use this on my eyelids as a base, and you will see that footage later on. So let's get into some details, because what really stood out to me about this product that I feel makes it different from any other powder product that you've ever tried. Number one, I've never tried a balm powder. It literally feels like a balm. Like, think of any of your balm lipsticks, balm anything, feels so creamy. Very much like a balm, but then you put it onto the skin, and as you're blending it in, it really does turn into this very soft, velvety powder. So what is it? She says it's a texture reducing, coverage boosting, blurring balm that balances oils throughout the day while maintaining hydration. And the one ingredient in this product that makes it so unique to any other product that you or I have probably ever tried is an ingredient called upsalite. So upsalite is a Swedish patented, proven chemical product. It's like a powder product. So if you don't know, by trade, I am a scientist. And when I kept hearing about this, I was like, what is this? And like, how is it in terms of its structure, and how is it able to absorb oils and not also allow for our makeup to cake up on the face or anything like that? So anywho, did my research, and structurally the component of it is a very porous powder-like structure. And when I was reading up on it, it is the first product that has ever been able to be made like that. So it's a porous magnesium sulfate, which that had not ever been created prior to 2012. So because it's porous, when it comes in contact with oils, it's actually able to take up the oils and trap it. So the oils are not sitting atop your face. This product also doesn't draw oil out of your face, which is going to make your oil glands more active, which will make you more oily. So it literally just absorbs the oil, traps it, and holds it. And it's able to absorb these oils for up to 8 hours per the article that I read, or it wasn't an article, it was a video I watched. And I'll link that down below should you want to go and watch it yourself. It was a really informative video, about 5 or so minutes. Another thing that makes this product so unique in terms of this chemical or this powder is that in terms of its absorptive rate, it's able to absorb up to 75% of its body weight, whereas other powders such as talc or cornstarch, they're only able to absorb up to 25% of their body weight per gram. So when you hear all of that scientific information, it's like, oh, I get it now. So what it does is it's going to absorb your oils from your face and trap them and hold them. So because the oils are not sitting atop your face, or they're being absorbed on top of the powder, it's not going to cause your makeup to cake up. It's also not going to dry out your skin because it's not drawing oils out of your skin. It's just taking the oils that you create, sucking them up and holding them. So wanted to put that out there just in case you weren't sure, how is this going to work and how is this going to not prevent my face from looking dry or being dry. If I have dry skin, will this work for me? Like, I'll explain all of that even more, but I wanted to put that out there because that was interesting to me and it was definitely worth noting. Some other ingredients that are in these blurring balm powders is that it's got squalene in it, which is going to help to balance oil production and help to reduce the signs of aging. And then it has hyaluronic acid, which we all know is great for skin hydration. There were some clinical studies done on these balm powders, and the clinical study involved 31 women. And I'm not going to read all of the results, but I do suggest that you do so because I just think this is interesting. So when worn as a primer under foundation, 96% of the participants said it made their foundation apply smoothly. 93% said it made their foundation look natural. And 93% said it helped to blur the appearance of pores. And then when worn alone as a foundation, 48% said it immediately took away their shine. 96 said their skin appeared less oily throughout the day. 93 said that they felt it left a natural matte finish, and on and on and on. So for me, what I wanted to do was I wanted to see what and how this product wore just by itself, or with the trifecta. The trifecta meaning we've got the Yummy Skin Glow Serum, we've got the Yummy Skin Foundation, where is it? Right here, and then with the Blurring Balm Powder, because she says you can legit use this however you intend to want to use it, or however you think you can use it, you can use it. You can use it as a primer. You could wear it alone as your foundation. You could wear it on top of another foundation as your actual powder. You can put it on your eyelids. The only place I didn't put this on my face was my lips, and I mean, I guess if you want to do that, you could. I wouldn't, but you know, wherever you think you can use this, or however you think you could use this, she says that you can use it. She says it's great for all skin types, normal, dry, combination, and oily. And the shades that she has will be flexible for a plethora of shades. So let's get into this demonstration and see how it goes. So what I did was I first put on the universal shade, the translucent shade, because I wanted you all to see what it looked like. And I think you've already seen the footage of that. And as you can see, that blended into the skin. She says the best method of application is going to be either your fingers or this one brush. You guys, okay, Rose and Ben. This is a brand, and as of right now, they only sell makeup brushes. The brushes are vegan, they're cruelty-free. The hairs are so soft. So this is the C41 brush. She said of all the brushes that she has tried with her Blurring Balm Powder, this brush blends it in the best. So if you aren't the person who likes to use their hands, she recommended this brush. So I went out, like I was watching her live, I immediately stopped the live, ordered the brush because I was like, this is gonna sell out and I need to have the best of the best when talking about this balm powder. So I got this brush from the Rose and Ben website. It retails for $35. It reminds me of the BK Beauty 101 brush, which I know I have it up here. Here we go. And in terms of its shape, but in terms of like the density of the brush, I would say the BK Beauty one is a little more dense. This one is a bit more fluffy. And in terms of the softness, the Rose and Ben one is just slightly more soft. Like it feels like natural hair, even though it's synthetic hair. Like these, I'm going to buy all of the other brushes. I already have them in my cart. I'm just waiting to pull the trigger. So I would definitely agree, try this brush. You don't have to get it, but like, I'm very glad that I bought it. So anywho, put the universal shade on with my hands, blended it in. I think it blended in beautifully. I mean, it basically blended in to nothing. And I would say for me, I would most definitely use the universal shade more like a primer, or just on days where I'm like, I don't have time to do nothing to my face, but I just kind of want to diminish my pores and be out the door. That's how I would use the universal shade, because immediately applying it to this side of my face and around where my pores are, I immediately saw a reduction of how my pores looked. And my skin just looked really smooth and refined. And in terms of the matte finish of these balm powders, the finish is going to be matte, but I think it's a very soft matte. Like, I don't feel like my face looks dry or like the life has been sucked out of it. So I'll get into additional details later on. Okay, so then I decided to go in with shade 5, because for me, I feel like shade 5 is the best shade match for me. And I would say if you're around my complexion, I wear the shade N06 in her Vision Cream Cover Foundation. I also wear shade 12W in her Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. And if you're ever wondering what shade of foundation I wear, click the D box, scroll all the way down, and I have a whole list of foundations and the shades that I wear in them. So if you're ever wondering, you know, well, what does she wear in NARS or Tom Ford or, you know, this or that, I do have a pretty good list of foundations and the shades that I wear. So that can help you hopefully figure out, you know, what shade could work for you. So anywho, shade 5 I felt was the best shade match for me. But I would say, if you're around my complexion, I would suggest getting 2 shades, because shade 5 alone is not going to be the best shade match for me as I get more color to my skin, like coming up with these summer months. I already got a little bit more color, and like right along here, I feel like it's looking just a hair light, like just a hair light. So I would say shade 5 is like my perfect winter shade. And then I would say for like here moving into the summer, I most definitely will be using shades 5 and 7 together. So shade 7 is going to give me, you know, some bronzing to the skin. That's actually what I use today as my bronzer. But the more color I get, I might go with just 7 by itself, or like 7 on the perimeter and then shade 5 in the center to just balance me out. So wanted to put that out there. Okay, so for today's demo though, I put shade 5 all over the face. It blended in so smoothly. And like I said, it's so creamy to the touch. Like just looking at it here, when I first tried it, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like a balm, like an actual balm. And this is what shade 5 looks like, you know, on my hand, or on my finger, I should say. But then you swatch it and you're just like, okay. And as you begin to blend it, like if I could say, you feel it like turning into a powder, and you get that soft velvety touch to it. So this is what shade 5 looks like on the back of my hand. And I know you saw face swatches, but you know, sometimes, you know, finger swatches are nice too. So blended that all over the face. And then after I did that, you know, we had to do all the things. So took it in my natural lighting. I thought it looked so beautiful in natural lighting. And I was like, yes, Danessa, yes, you're not disappointing. Then I took it outside and it just looks beautiful. And I feel like you see my skin underneath. It doesn't look dry and matte, it just looks like skin. And I forgot to mention, you already saw this, but I did go in with her Yummy Skin Serum before I applied the balm powder, because like I said, I wanted to do the whole trifecta. So I put this on this side of the face just to see, you know, like, would this make a difference? Would any type of glow serum make a difference underneath it? And so put this on first, then put the balm on top. Then did flash photography. There is no flashback, which she does say this should not give you flashback. And so I would agree, there was no flashback. Okay, so then I sat down again and I said, let's add the Yummy Skin Serum Foundation on top, because she said we could use this as a primer. And so of course, got to go in with her other Yummy Skin products. So put that foundation on top. I loved how this blended on top of the balm powder in terms of like time difference. It was maybe about 5 to 10 minutes of a time difference between when I had put the balm powder on and then put the Yummy Skin Serum on top. No skipping, none of the above. It just blended really smoothly and velvety on top, okay? So then I said, let's go back in with the balm powder, because she said you can use this to set your foundation. Like this could be your powder if you didn't want to use other powder. So I was like, we're doing it all today. Like I'm trying to get in as much types of different applications as we can in this one video. So took the balm powder, started putting it on top, and that's when I noticed, Danessa was right. So she got a ton of questions in her Teach Me Tuesdays of how is this gonna work with dry skin? Is this gonna work well with dry skin? You know, I have dry skin, I don't like matte things, like how does this work? And she and her team stressed, you have to prep your skin. If you have dry skin, if you have like extremely oily skin, prep your skin the way that you normally would when using products that might be a little this or that based on what you like. So for instance, if you have drier skin, go ahead and prep your skin the way that you would to make sure that your skin doesn't look dry. And so where I noticed it was like right along the corners of my nose and right here. Hopefully you all can see that right here. I feel like it looks a little drier than I would like. I also noticed it around the crown of my forehead, like right along here. Oh, I got a little spot right here I need to blend in. And if you've already seen the demo, I did like circle the area that I felt looked dry. And so that's when I was like, she's right. You do have to prep your skin the way it needs to be prepped. If I'm gonna be experiencing any dryness, it will be around this area of my forehead and right along here. So I did want to point that out because she did say it. And I was like, I didn't want to add anything else to it outside of the glow serum because I wanted to be able to see like what does my skin need in order for these balm powders to look their best. And so for me, I do need to make sure that my skin is hydrated in those areas. And even though I put the glow serum on here, I didn't drag it like, you know, all along here. So I did want to point that out. So far, if you have dry skin, I do think this could work for you, but you do need to prep your skin. Okay. Of course, we have to wait till the end of the day to finalize those thoughts, but I did want to point that out. So then after I applied the balm powder on this side of the face, I wanted to add a little bit more coverage on this side of the face, this side that just has the balm powder, because she does say that you can build this balm powder, and she was right. I do feel like we were able to build this side up to where the coverage now looks a bit even between this side with the serum foundation and balm powder, and then this side with just the balm powder. I think it built up really nicely. There was no streaking or anything of that nature. And I think it looks beautiful. I did apply the balm powder with my hands on this side of the face. And for me, I just like the brush better. I felt like it took a little longer than I wanted to blend the powder in, or the balm powder in, with my fingers. And I typically don't like blending in products with my fingers. It just, every time I hear, oh, it's great with your fingers, I try it and I'm like, I prefer a brush. So if you like blending in things with your fingers, you probably will like blending this in with your fingers. For me, I stand with the brush, and so I did go over the balm powder with a brush, and like I said, you probably have already seen the footage for that. And I thought it blended in beautifully. Okay, so then I wanted to use as many of these balm powders as I could all over the face. So I took shade 7, and that's what I used to bronze the face, blended in beautifully. And I'm not gonna lie, I started to get worried because I'm like, am I adding too much of this to the face? Especially when I started to see it kind of like breaking up a little here and looking dry. I was just like, I'm gonna do it, but is this not gonna work? It blended in so smoothly, and not one time did I feel like it was looking off or like, oh, you're just doing too much. Like it blended in really beautifully. And then I took shade 8, and I used shade 8 on my eyelids, because she was like, you can use it on the eyes as like almost like a primer for the eyes. And she was like, eyeshadow will blend over it very smoothly. And she sent this to her makeup artist friends, and they did confirm the same thing. Okay, so here's shade 5, shade 6, shade 7, and shade 8 swatched on the back of my hand. So then after that, I also took shade 8 and blended it on the lower lash line. And then I did add a couple more of her products to the face. So on the eyes, I added both of her new Color Fix foil shades. So shades Nightcap and Jewels. Y'all, these are stunning. So I wore Nightcap in another video. I can't remember what the video, what video it was, but it was one of my recent videos. So here's Nightcap, and I just mixed them together. Oh, did you see that duo shift? So stunning. And then I also took shade Nude 9, and I ran that along the lower lash line just to add a little bit more dimension to shade Nude 9. Her nude shades, you can purchase them off of her website or Riot Beauty or Camera Ready Cosmetics. You can't find her nude shades at Sephora. So I'll have links to everything that I'm using down below, so you can check them out if you would like to. And then on my lips, I also took shade Nude 9 and outlined my lips with it. And then I mixed Nude 9 with her shade Carrot Top and just dabbed that in the middle. So that's how I got my lip color. And on my cheeks, because she said if you love Vision Flush applies on top of this balm powder like a dream. So I had to try it because y'all know I stand for some Vision Flush. So I took ballet slippers and I just applied a bit to the cheeks because I was like, I don't want to take away just this skin-like look, so that's ballet slippers. But I was like, I felt like I needed something on the lips, so I say skin-like look with the eyes bedazzled. So this is the face, you guys. I have been wearing all of these balm powders on now for 2 hours. I most definitely would agree that as these couple of hours have rolled on, my skin has definitely come to a nice soft matte. And I feel like we got here in about 30 minutes. So I feel like for like the 30-minute time frame to this next hour and a half to where we are now, this is how my face has been looking. It doesn't look any more matte. My skin does not feel heavy or tight or dry. I actually don't feel like I have anything on my face, if I'm being dead honest. Like, doesn't feel like anything. I'm touching my skin where the balm powder is, and it legit feels like skin. There's no stickiness. I only feel like a little bit of tack, like where the Vision Flush blush is, or it's not just a blush, but you know what I'm saying. But like all down here feels like skin. Legit feels like skin. So I think that is it for now in terms of just, like I said, my quick assumptions and what I feel like so far. Drier skin people, prep your skin. Most definitely prep your skin. Oily skin people, I think you're gonna love this without maybe any additional prep, because these powders do dry down to a very soft matte. But we'll take a look to see what this is looking like at the end of the day, because that's gonna really tell us how this is holding up. Is my drier areas looking more dry? You know, we're gonna pay attention to all of that. I do have a smile line right here, and we just see the easiest bit of settling here. Although I do tend to have settling in this smile line here. So it's not uncommon, but we'll pay attention to that. But I wanted to point that out just to be transparent. And I want to say that is it. I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave anything else out. And if I did, you've already seen it in the B-roll footage. Forgive me. But guys, that's it at the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to go about my day. I will wear all of these balm powders on my face for a minimum of 8 hours. And we'll check in at the end of the day to see how are we standing. And are these balm powders right for you? Okay, guys, we are back. It is the end of the day. These 8 hours cannot roll by any faster, because I really just want to know, is this upsalite really gonna do what it's gonna do? My biggest concern, or wonder I should say, is how are these areas gonna look on my face that did show signs of, you know, looking more dry underneath this balm powder. So let's come in close and see what things are looking. So remember earlier, this area looked quite textured, cakey, like it looked dry. And then right along here, around my forehead, look dry. So you guys tell me your thoughts, but to me, these areas don't look any more dry. They don't look any more cakey. They just look the same way that they looked earlier in the videos at the 2-hour mark compared to now the 8-hour mark. Everywhere else on the face looks really, really beautiful. My smile line here doesn't look like it has accumulated any more of the balm powder. Everything has stayed on really nicely too. So I've been tired. It's been a long week. And I took a nap today for about an hour and some change. I tried to like not press on my face or sleep on my face, but I mean, I don't know what I was doing while I was sleeping. So I took pictures of what my face looked like immediately when I woke up, because I was like, what do these balm powders look like? Your girl's face was still snatched after an hour nap, and I was like tucked in the bed napping, so it wasn't no cute little nap. I mean, I got a nice little nap in. You can see my Vision Flash blush is still on. Like, everything still looks really nice, and my skin feels so like skin. So I actually have been sweating the past 30 minutes or so. I've been in the kitchen cooking. I've got this sweatshirt on, and like I'm actually kind of hot right now. So I do feel just a little bit of perspiration like right along here. But earlier when I went to the store, this was around like the 6.5, 7 hour mark, I felt my face, and my face felt like skin. Like, upsalite is doing what it's supposed to be doing, because all day my skin just felt very smooth, not drying. I didn't feel like I mentioned earlier, I didn't feel like my skin felt like the moisture and hydration was sucked out of it because of the upsalite. So I really do agree with the science behind it, that this is really just going to take up whatever natural oils that you're gonna make, suck them up into the pores, and hold them until you are ready to wash your face off. But it's not going to add more oil to your face. It's also not going to take away the hydration that you have. It's not, based on my experience, I don't think it's gonna make your skin feel any more dry, because you've got this property that's taking moisture out of the skin. So I am impressed. Like, I'm impressed. So for me, the way that I see myself using these balm powders moving forward, straight up shades 5 and 7 will get the most usage out of me, because I think those tones and undertones work best and look most complimentary on the skin. Shade 8, I will definitely experiment more with in the summertime because I think that could also be a really beautiful bronzer. So just to remind you of what the shades are, I think this could be a beautiful bronzer in the summer months because I do tend to like more like warm bronzers in the summer months. So that's how I probably will use shade 8. Shade 7 I think is going to be like a really beautiful contour bronzing type of shade because it's got that neutral undertone. I think for me, this will be like a go-to for a bronzer and warmth. And then like I said, shade 5, where are you at? 5 will be a shade that I would use for my T-zone area. Now, shade 6, I might just see what that looks like all over the face because when I swatched it on the back of my hand, I was like, that actually might look pretty decent all over the face. So I don't know. I'll report back after using these, you know, over the next few weeks. I'll tell you which shades I tend to reach for more and more. So I'll let you know at the end of May in my May monthly favorites, you know, what shade I gravitate to more. But just off of what I've seen today, I think I'll reach for 5 and 7 the most. And like I mentioned earlier, I would recommend 5 and 7 if you're around my shade. Unless you're just a smidge lighter than me, 5 might be a really good like all over shade for you. Okay, now, and like I said, for the universal shade, I would probably use the universal shade as like a primer, or like I don't really have time to put nothing on my face, so I'm just gonna put this on to smooth the pores, refine texture. That was another thing I wanted to point out. I definitely have texture along my jawline, and I do feel like this did smooth over my texture as well. So, I mean, of course, not getting rid of it, but smoothing over it and just making it look less texturized. Like, if I could say, these balm powders really just make the skin look so smooth, like so refined and smooth. Now, let's get into who I think these are for. Definitely would recommend these for people who have normal skin. I would definitely recommend it for people who have combination and oily skin. Like, I think if you have normal skin, combination, and oily skin, I really don't see you needing to do any major adjusting or prepping of your skin. Because I feel like, of course, if you have combination oily skin, the upsalite's gonna absorb your oils and really help to keep you more matte, probably to your liking. And she said in her Teach Me Tuesday, she was like, for those of you who just have to use powders because you're oily and you're like, I don't care what you say, I'm using my powders. You can use your regular powders on top of these balm powders, but she does suggest that you give the balm powders a try. Put them to the test and see if they will hold up your oils throughout the day. So I would say that too. Put it to the test. And then if you try it and you're like, yeah, I just want to be a little more mattified, add your normal powders on top of the balm powder and like you will be good to go. If you're like me and you have a little more normal skin with some dry areas, then just prep your skin with a little bit more moisturization. So for me, next time I use these balm powders, I will probably go in with like Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, maybe my Lisa Eldridge, what is this called? Elevated Glow, or I love Lila B A Glow Face Mist, or I might just go in with just a face mist, which this is the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. So yeah, I would probably go in with something like that, or I would just use more of her glow serum all over the face. So that's probably how I will use like prep my skin moving forward using these balm powders. But I really wouldn't add too much more. I would just add more in like the areas of my face that tend to be more dry. So that's that. If you have dry skin, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say go ahead and prep your skin, because I can see someone with dry skin, especially if you have drier skin, being like, no, I didn't feel like hydration was sucked out of my skin, but I could see someone with drier skin being like, this still is just making my skin look too matte for my liking. So I would say go in with a very, very hydrating primer, maybe using an extra moisturizer that has like a little bit more thickness to it. Something of that nature that you feel will make your skin look really nice and juicy and luminous. And then that way, when you put the balm powders on top and it does dry down to that soft matte finish, you won't feel like your skin looks too dry for your liking. That would be my suggestion for people who have like very dry skin and drier skin, because it is gonna leave you with a soft matte finish. And if you don't like products that leave the face with a soft matte finish, if you don't use powder at all, especially for your foundations, and you're just like, Chelsea, I just don't want anything dealing with soft matte, I really like more of a luminous finish, I would say this is probably not the product for you. Because looking at my face at the end of the day, I don't feel like life has been sucked out of my face at all, but I don't have like this, you know, angelic glow to the face. And I'm fine with this on a day-to-day basis, and I know if I want to add more glow, I can add it on top or add it underneath. But I also know, like, depending on your skin type and what you like if you want a nice glow, you don't want any type of powdery like product on top. Whereas if you don't want the oils to show through and you really want them to be absorbed from the face, you're going to gravitate to more of those matte like products. So that would be my suggestion. As in summary, drier skin, dry skin, prep the skin, but also know your skin preferences. And if you know, I don't like to do anything soft matte of anything, then you know, this isn't the one for you. I would definitely recommend her Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. I would most definitely recommend her Yummy Skin Glow Serum. These are beautiful products. I've done a full review on them, and I will link that product or link that video for you as well. And then if you have normal skin, you don't mind a little soft matte finish, if you're a combination oily, of course, you more than likely you're going to prefer a matte finish. I would definitely say give them a try. These products will be released on Sephora tomorrow, April 29th, or you can go to her website and order them there. I don't think there's anything else I want to tell you. I'm just so excited I was able to try out these products and share with you my thoughts and opinions. I love them. I'm definitely going to be using these products either by themselves or on top of foundation or underneath foundation. And like I said, for me, I'll just make sure that I prep my skin a little bit more if I'm going to be using them like under my foundation, putting foundation on top and adding this on top. But I love them. I think everything she said that these balm powders will do, they do. And I'm highly impressed. And once again, she has come out with a product that we have never seen on the market, but it's like something that we definitely could use and something that I feel like we could need too. I'm very interested to see how these balm powders are gonna work in like the hot summer months, because we're gonna be sweating, we produce more oils. Like I really wanna put these to the test. Because I think these could be like so revolutionary. And last thing, and then I'll let y'all go. When I was reading up on upsalite, every article that I read and every video that I read said the same thing. This is going to be like the revolutionary ingredient in cosmetics in the future. And one YouTube video that I watched that said this, it was from a scientific company. That was like 3 years ago. And I was like, look at Danessa out here shining, just being revolutionary, like the woman she is. So let me know your thoughts down below. I want to hear what your thoughts are, your opinions, your questions. Leave all that down in the comment section below. And if you made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.